Welcome to another edition of the Bridges Bulletin. Let's get started. Hello, this is Dyann Bridges, and today I want to discuss rivers, the rivers of life that we jump into and then have a whole lot of trouble getting out. First of all, I want to explain what I mean by a river in life, and second of all, I want to discuss how best to choose the right river to jump into. So when I'm talking about a river in life, I'm talking about a path, a frequency, an energy, if you will. And I don't want to get too esoteric, but simply this means a career path, what school you choose, getting into a relationship, choosing a home, where you're going to live. These are rivers. And I describe them as such because there's a flow to it. Once you get into one of these things, there's effort that you need to do to sustain it, but also it'll go on with or without you. So yes, there's things that you need to do to participate in these rivers, but oftentimes they're not easy to disengage from. But one way or the other, these rivers are going to keep flowing without you. The schools will still be there. The home will still be there. They'll hire somebody else for that job. So, having said all that, you can understand how important it is to make these decisions with care. And many times we do, and many times we don't. And there's reasons for that. And in the beginning of our lives, I do believe that we get extra energy so that we can make mistakes and maybe jump into a whole bunch of different rivers that aren't really right for us, but they give us experience. However, at some point, especially at midlife, it gets tougher to make the same mistakes. And you can jump into a new river at any time in your life. But once you reach a certain age, what's the point of jumping into a familiar river? And especially one that you don't really enjoy, or you've had problems with before. Why go down that road? And how do you avoid it? Well, making decisions is one of the most powerful things that we do, yet statistically, it's been studied by scientists that most of the decisions we make, the reasoning is not thought through, and we decide to do something with very little foundational reasoning behind it. Even for some of the bigger things like buying a home or taking a career offer. Now, after 40 and 50 in your life, how you make decisions is going to become more and more critical because you have to use your energy more wisely. Life insists on it. It will tax you more heavily in the form of energy if you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. That's certainly what I've noticed in my life. And so being deliberate in your decision-making is vital at this point if you want to stay happy and healthy. And to do that, reassessing what really gives you joy and who are you really and what do you want to contribute? What can you see yourself doing for at least the next 2 or 3 years? And preferably into the next 5 or 10 years. Do you love that home and that area enough to want to spend the next 5 or 10 years there? Or is it just for the next 6 months to a year? Either way is fine, but you've got to know your priorities and where you want to go in your life. And sometimes we've gotten into a bit of a habit by the time we reach midlife that we feel we should do certain things. We should take that job. We should live in that area. We should drive that kind of car. We should hang out with those types of people. Yet, if you just really listen and notice if there's any discontent or restlessness underlying those types of ideas and decisions, you might start to realize that certain types of cars or people or neighborhoods don't necessarily appeal to you. You don't necessarily want to do those things. Hang out with those people, live there, drive that. You might be content with something not quite as grand in terms of a car, or maybe you'd rather have a home that's more remote or smaller, or hang out with different kinds of people that perhaps are slightly more socially awkward, but you find them more interesting. This is valid. And being honest with yourself in this regard is very important. And then you can make better decisions and jump into much more exciting rivers that fit you and your life. It should be easier the current in your life should carry you along much more readily as you get older. Why? Because you know yourself better. You've worked through a lot of insecurities and fears when you were younger, and now you're more content. You have more peace of mind. You've attained many more skills than you had when you were younger. You have a better understanding of life. You should be rewarded with things falling in place for you more easily. But that can only be done if you honor the power and authority that you have now at this stage in your life. Instead of bemoaning it or hanging on to regrets, which steal your energy, you can reframe them and perhaps concede that you could have handled certain things better, or perhaps at the time you made a certain decision, it ended up being very difficult for certain reasons because they were not your own reasons. You relied on somebody else's viewpoint instead of your own to do it. And owning that is fine. Now you get to do it your way. So I hope this has helped clarify how to make a decision that gets you in the right river. I don't want you spending any more energy than you have to. Your life should be fun. You should feel good. And you should be using your energy in ways that uplift you, around people that inspire you and make you laugh. And if you're interested in an outside opinion and objective, compassionate viewpoint, I'm available for a single call or an ongoing series of sessions, and I tend to work exclusively with men. So if you're a man in the second part of your life and you need a little guidance and a mature opinion, contact me at relatorsmanual.com. There's a lot more information there, and I'd be happy to speak with you. Thank you, and have a very sensual day.